It's clear the unthinkable is here. With the recent media distractions, most folks never saw it coming, but some did. Their guts told them something was wrong, and the headlines are proving them right. Our so-called trusted institutions tell you not to worry, that everything's fine, but you know better. Self-reliance doesn't happen overnight. You have to start somewhere. Start with My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply, the country's largest preparedness company, is more than equipped to stock your shelves. Ditch the canned vegetables and boxed pasta. Their best-selling 3-month food kit provides delicious breakfast, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. These meals offer 2,000 calories every day with a balance of protein and carbs to keep you fed and ready in the event of an emergency. Just add water and heat. Then eat. Start or strengthen your food supply with this 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. Visit preparewiththinkaboutit.com to get ready. Order now for fast and free shipping. Preparewiththinkaboutit.com. Hi, Steve here. You know, I've been promoting survival food in this video. I think maybe you'll get a better understanding of why. For any real believer, anyone who really has a relationship with the Word of God and the Son of the living God, you already understand what I'm going to say. But for those of you who don't have any understanding yet, this video is for you. Revelation chapter 6 tells us what's coming, and I mean coming soon. The second seal has not yet been opened. But when the third seal is opened, it says this: when he broke the third seal, I heard the third living being say, "Go." I looked, and there in front of me was a black horse, and its rider held in his hand a pair of scales. Then I heard what sounded like a voice from among the 4 living beings say, 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wages, 6 pounds of barley for the same price, but don't damage the oil or the wine. You see, this is a 5-pound bag of flour I'm holding. So right about here would be around 2 pounds, right around in there. And the time is coming after the second seal is opened and peace is removed from the earth and men begin to act out. We'll see the price of real food costing more than most people have. For all those people who say, I don't need to worry because I'll be raptured out of here before all this happens, you're living in hopium. And just like the name implies, just like a drug that you're intoxicated from, you're believing something that is not true. I'm not saying that the scriptures about the catching away and we who are alive and remain will be caught up to meet the Lord in the air are not true. But what I am saying is that these things will happen before that day. I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe that over 100 food processing and food plants would naturally be destroyed in a 2-year period. I don't live in that kind of fantasy world. Guess what? Anything that's not accidental must be deliberate. Anything that happens that's not an accident, it must be deliberate. With all of the people crossing our borders from countries all over the world, the food demand will increase exponentially. But as you can see, our food input is decreasing exponentially. They're killing chickens. They're killing turkeys. They're killing cows. They're killing every kind of animal, all on a speculation that all of the food must be contaminated because supposedly a bird was tested and tested positive for the bird flu. So in order to get rid of all the chances that any bird flu can go on, we kill all of the animals. Literally millions and millions of farm animals that we eat. Isn't that kind of like saying, I've got a hangnail, so I'm going to cut my finger off?
You've seen those photos of empty grocery store shelves. You've seen people on social media asking, hey, I can't find baby formula. Where can I find it? Does anybody know? People might be forced to use Bill Gates' Biomilk, which is Biomilq. It's this fake baby formula stuff that's made in a lab, and it's supposed to be this climate-friendly alternative to the current formula that's on the market.
It's so obvious. There's something really, really weird going on. But Bill Gates should be speaking about nothing. He's an expert on nothing. You know, he's an expert because he's got money. That's why he's an expert.
Speaking of money and Bill Gates, let's get into it. Follow this timeline. It is critically important. If you want to follow the money, follow this timeline. Okay, so we're going to start with June 2020. That's when Biomilk came to be, this North Carolina startup that's funded by Bill Gates. So Bill Gates announced a startup called Biomilk, backed by some of the richest investors in the world, including Mark Zuckerberg, if you've heard of him. It raised $3.5 million. $3.5 million, remember that number. That is $3.5 million in Series A funding from Breakthrough Energy Ventures. Now, Breakthrough Energy Ventures is Bill Gates' investment firm that is supposed to fund things that fight climate change. So let's fast forward to September 2020. Remember that $3.5 million that's supposed to be for Biomilk? All right, well, this is a payment receipt from the Gates Foundation. Bill Gates paid The Guardian $3.5 million in September 2020. This is an initial offering from the Gates Foundation. Of course, right after, on September 27th, The Guardian published this article entitled "Antibodies in Breast Milk Remain for 10 Months After COVID Infection. Study." The Gates Foundation is paying The Guardian as a part of an annual funding agreement. Let's fast forward to just about a week ago or so, May 2022. That's when the Gates Foundation paid The Guardian, and like clockwork, there was a hit piece on breastfeeding. Check this one out. The Guardian published this piece entitled, "Turns out breastfeeding really does hurt. Why does no one tell you?" The author argues that sometimes breastfeeding can be bad for mothers' mental health and just kind of criticizes it in general. I actually reached out to the author to get her take on what was her inspiration for this piece. Ironically, I got an auto reply that she is on maternity leave. Bill Gates is pushing this so hard. There's so much money to be made by his newest investment, Biomilk.
The formula shortage is not an accident, and it's not a supply chain issue. Somebody did something purposely, but why they would do that, I don't know.
In 2020, Bill Gates, the world's fourth richest man and the co-founder of the mega company Microsoft, became the biggest farmland owner of the United States. Large and very large farms, which number almost 200,000, produce 63% of agricultural products in the US. But there are over 1.9 million small family farms across the country. As much as 70% of farmland is expected to change hands within the next 20 years. Bill and his wife Melinda Gates now own up to 242,000 acres of farmland across the US, enough to make him the top private farmland owner in America. Gates have built up a massive farmland portfolio spanning 18 states. His largest holdings are in Louisiana, Arkansas, and Nebraska. It is important to mention that Bill has the most farmland. Now the big question is, why did Bill Gates buy so much farmland? He has not yet given an answer. Bill Gates believes that we cannot continue using meat in our diet the way we're doing today for much longer, and we need to switch to alternatives. The Beyond Burger and the Impossible Burger are the two plant-based alternatives to traditional beef patties. They're designed to taste, look, and feel like meat-based burgers, but contain no meat, eggs, dairy, or other animal-derived ingredients. With Bill Gates owning most farmland in the US and his interest in plant-based diet, there is a fear that they will continue to grow and slowly take over the land of their competitors. And later on, as the biggest farmland owners, they would have the power to regulate meat consumption and change the way we eat.
And Mr. Gates, being the humanitarian that he is, he probably figures if you can't get real food, you'll probably turn to his GMO and his plant-based foods. There's something that we need to understand about all billionaires. They're never satisfied with the amount of wealth they have. And number two, they care more about control and power than they do about their wealth. Mr. Gates is heavily invested in big pharma. He's heavily invested in GMO and artificial foods. And his goals will remain the same. Climate change is just a train that he rides to accomplish his plans. The plans the wealthy elites have for the rest of us are not what they have planned for themselves. And the world will begin to see this more with each passing day. If you don't know Jesus Christ personally, if you've never humbled yourself, surrendered your life to Him, and asked Him to forgive you of your sin, I leave a link in the description box below. All you need to do is go down there and click on that link. It will take you to a page with a simple prayer to help you to invite Jesus to be the Lord of your life. Think about it.